Oh, I'm small again. I don't understand why it starts me like that. It doesn't make any sense, but that's the default positioning for the camera. Does the bear scare the shit out of everyone still? It's a little jarring. Yes. You must have read my mind. Sorry for that. Maybe I'll find a way to lower the volume on that just a little bit because I think it's loud. The bear, you really know. Pay attention. Speaking of paying attention, well, we're live on YouTube, X, and on Telegram. If you want to watch on Telegram, we're streaming on Telegram. Like the video up, share the video, donate to the channel to keep this channel afloat. Not like others are afloat. Others are in the world are afloat in different ways, not so great ways. Anyways, we're going to get to that. Speaking of paying attention, there's a joke about being so broke you can't pay attention. A lot of people are struggling economically in the country. So we're going to talk about a lot of economic things going on, and I can't even begin to, scratch the surface of all the news that is worthy of being talked about. We're going to talk about economics, and we're going to talk about floods. Jesus. Are they just flooding everybody out, and then everybody's going to go into 15-minute cities? Is that the consensus? Is that what people are thinking? I don't know. Did you ever hear about something called climate change that scientists have done studies on for decades? And in all those decades, they were like, well, when it gets a lot hotter on the planet, these are the things we're going to see. Weather calamities, the likes of which we have never seen before. What's happening? That's what's happening. So it's like somebody, explained all this in the past. And because people are just so like, no, it can't be climate change. No way. You gotta cook up all the other things that might be happening, and true or not true, and some of them are true, and blame it on that, because you just can't conceive or concede that it could be that human beings have altered the planet with all of their stuff. Even though you can look out your window and just look at how the human beings have altered the planet with all their stuff, right? In your neighborhood, in your funky town, in my funky town, right? In your neck of the woods, anywhere you are, unless you live, unless you're Poppy and you live way out in the boonies. If you live in somewhere that's urban or semi-urban or suburban, you can just look out your window and see how humans have altered the climate. What? Because are there more roads? There's more cars. There's more houses. There's more people. There's more things. There's more stuff. More people on the trails. More people in the ocean. More people shitting and duking and eating and consuming and just and doing stuff, right? It's like, I'm sure there's other things going on, but it's just like the super obvious thing that's right in front of your face. It's okay to acknowledge that. It's totally fine. I know we don't want to. I think collectively humans are a little bit afraid of acknowledging the reality of it. Because if you acknowledge the reality of it, it's hard to accept. But you see the videos of, this is the fashion industry. Look at all this waste in Africa and South America, these piles of clothes and random just mountaintops. Look at all these look at all the floating plastic bottles in Bangladesh and look at all, like, no, that hasn't altered the climate of the planet. All that garbage. No. Yeah, I watched that video, Delene. I did. I mean, it was okay. I don't, Nicole Shanahan is a red flag to me. I don't mind Dane Wigington. I think his heart is in the right place and he believes what he believes, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't know. It was okay. It didn't really like, it didn't change my mind about anything. It didn't enlighten me to anything that I didn't know before, but interesting that he was talking about it, I guess. All right, we're going to talk about the economy, and this guy says some things. I really like this video because this guy says some things that I was just saying yesterday. Kind of. I mean, did you find it shocking or enlightening, Delene? Or what about it? Did anything about it shake you up? So this guy talks about I don't know, problems with the economy, and I really agree with a lot of what he has to say, and I just wanted to play this. Somewhere in here. Here we go.
Restaurants are struggling is because they're expensive and people don't have money. But
I'm going to pause right here. There has been this thing, and it's really prevalent in LA, but it's kind of everywhere. This luxury. Yeah, I agree. Delene, I don't know what you mean. I agree that they're happening. I do agree that they're happening. I've argued with people many times on this channel about how they are happening, and they don't believe that they are happening. I do believe that they're happening. I just don't think that the cause of everything that's going on, I don't think they're the one true cause of, if only they would stop geoengineering, then everything would be fine on the no, that's not it. It would help if they stopped. It would really help. Or maybe the temperature of the planet might shoot up 5 degrees, just like they stopped the ship burning bunker fuel, and they stopped the ship emissions, and all of a sudden in the last 3, like that kicked in like a couple of years ago, and in a few years we've seen the average temperature of the planet increase significantly. They took away the global dimming, and if we stopped whatever chemtrailing or geoengineering that is going on, would that allow the temperature of the planet to continue to go up? That's what I think would happen. Is yeah, it would be great not to do that stuff because it's probably affecting things in a negative way. But if you stopped doing that, you would probably allow for the climate change that has yet to be realized to kick in. And then it's going to get hotter and weirder. So it's not like, if they just stopped doing that, then everything would go. No, it's not understanding the problem correctly. Anyways, that's me. That's just me. That's what I believe. Anyways, this idea that everything has to be luxury, right? That people want to buy expensive things because it makes them feel better about themselves and they feel like they're buying quality. It's kind of like the idea behind, it's kind of, I think buying organic is a scam in a way, because not everything you buy that's organic is organic. Maybe some of it is, but you're also buying like a lot of organic things wrapped in plastic, right? So here's some organic vegetables wrapped in microplastics. Great. It's kind of a scam, but it's a scam that allows people to charge a lot more for food. And so this, with that thing going on and with this luxury item thing going on, and how, it's like the Starbucks phenomenon, which is like, well, we make really good coffee, so we're charging like $3 a cup of coffee when everybody else charges like $1, $5, whatever. And people will pay it because they love our coffee. But what that has allowed is for everyone else to raise their price of their coffee to fucking $5. Even shit coffee is $5. right? Now everywhere you go to the gas station, there's like $2.50 for this brown piss in a cup. $2.50. Well, no, it's not $2.50. This is the dollar coffee. I want to come in and get the dollar coffee, not the $2.50, $3. No, if I want to go get gouged, I'd just go somewhere else. But this phenomenon allows for everything else to go up in price. It's like, it's kind of like the opposite of the trickle down. It's like the trickle up effect, where, people feel like they can raise the prices of things that are really, very quality goods, right? And it just makes the price of everything else go up, and it makes everything unaffordable, right? Because you can't be like, well, hey, I'm on a budget. I'm not going to eat at that restaurant, or I'm not going to go buy Starbucks. I'm going to go to the gas station and buy the dollar coffee. I'm on a budget. No, you can't be on a budget anymore, because everywhere is just, everything is expensive. Now everything costs a lot of money, whatever. It's ridiculous. It's out of control. But let's listen to this guy. I'll stop talking.
There is a more specific thing happening. It's not that nobody has money. I mean, there are rich people. The problem is that rich people can only be in one place at a time. They only eat dinner once a night. I mean, if 10 people have $100,000, that's going to be 10 dinners. But if one person has $1 million, that's going to be one dinner. They might spend a little bit more, but it's going to be at one place. My point is that when money gets concentrated at the top, you end up with less customers. And a healthy economy doesn't just need money, it needs volume. The money has to circulate for the economy to grow. I mean, the stock market just hit an all-time high. But if you're watching this, you probably don't feel rich, because 90% of stocks are owned by 10% of people. Meaning that when the market goes up, you don't end up with more people going to restaurants. You end up with less, because all of that money is just sitting in stocks. It's not circulating. Think about Floyd Mayweather. He's always posting videos of him buying dumb stuff, clothes and watches. But I mean, compare Floyd Mayweather to Elon Musk. Elon Musk wears clothes that he got for free. He sleeps in his office. Floyd Mayweather, for all of his faults, at least his money is circulating back into the economy. Elon Musk's money is just sitting in Tesla stock. It's not helping anybody. I mean, think about when working people get unexpected money and a stimulus check or a bonus. The question they ask each other is, what are you going to spend yours on? Because that's what working people do. When rich people get unexpected money, they just pile it on top of the money they already have. I mean, rich people are always lecturing everybody else about buying lattes. But the economy is lattes. That's what everything is. The reason you're rich is because of lattes.
Boom. And that was the point, or the point that I make all the time, try to make all the time, is the whole idea of the 15-minute city idea, the whole we're screwing everybody over economically so that we can corral them into that is not an economy. That's not an economy. That's not something that creates wealth for the people at the top. China works because they have a capitalist part of their society, right? Because they're kind of capitalism, with some communism laid on top of it. But you have to allow the capitalism part to work. So I don't know how, if it's too authoritarian, if it's too, top down, if it's too strangling, nobody's going to have any money to do any, and that's the thing, is the thing about China is the economy runs all there, there's a lot of parts of the economy that are fake in China, right? So there's that too, right? but capitalism is allowed to operate on some level, and I feel like they know that if they impinge on the capitalist part, also, a lot of their economy, I think, comes from the US. A lot of their economy comes from Western countries buying all their cheap goods, right? They make and produce a lot of things for the world, and so that drives their economy. If we don't have any money to buy their stuff anymore, their economy dries up too. It's the thing is, the basic bottom line is, if the idea that you're gonna, and I'm not arguing with the idea that maybe the people in charge want to, drive everybody into poverty and control them all. But what is that? Who's going to survive in that situation? They're not going to survive too, right? We're not going to survive. They're not going to survive. And so what this person is saying, this guy is saying, is kind of the same thing, which is like, you're rich because of the lattes. You're rich because people are out there buying stuff. So if you ruin the ability for people to buy homes or go out and and buy things in general, or survive in general, or right, if you there's a lot of parts of this economy that people are forced into, right? You're forced to pay rent, so now you're forced to go get a job, and to get to the job, you're forced to go get a car, and when you get a car, you're forced to buy insurance. Like, you're forced to pay for these things, right? But like, if nobody can pay for these things, then what? It all falls apart. Everything falls apart. And so it doesn't, I get that maybe this is true, that this is where they're driving us. And I get that people really believe that this is what they're doing, but it just doesn't make, the end result doesn't make any sense. Economically, it just doesn't make any sense. And it actually undermines the ability for the people in control to stay in control. If nobody can buy anything, that really just kills your business. You have no more business. Then what?
If we stop buying, then this whole thing collapses.
That's it. This is a ridiculous headline from the New York Times. Is it okay to earn rental income from an ICE holding facility? My God. This is like the dudes, the financial guys that are like, man, robotics is going to be great. AI, I'm all in on AI. Are you? Really? Because you see where this is going, right? Everybody can see where this is going. And if I guess you can get rich from it now. I suppose that's fine. But you're getting rich off creating like misery, eventually. Because I'm sorry, robots are not going to, some of the things that have been invented have made things better for a minute, but then like they eventually, get wielded against people, right? Like AI and, social media is now being used to, instead of like uplift and allow voices to be heard, right? That now it's being used to track you and censor you and listen in on what you're thinking and saying and what you're buying, so they can, put ads in front of you. Like, it's being used in the most dystopian kind of way, right? When it was when it was packaged as a utopian idea, like, yes, and for a minute it feels like that to people, and then all of a sudden it doesn't feel like that anymore. So robots, well, first of all, who's going to afford a robot if the economy is dead? Police and wealthy people. Right? That's it. And so people the regular people who can't afford robots aren't going to see robots as, these freedom and these empowering things. No. Well, yeah, Denver, yeah, for sure. I always thought it's funny. I always saw, on some levels, right? Like the internet does have a utopian feature to it, or has a evolutionary for human feature to it. But like the internet was created by DARPA, and I was like, well, so how can anything that the military created be something that empowers people? That's the intention is to no, of course not. Oh yeah, police and thieves in the street. Yeah. Um. Oh yeah. And I also always saw the internet as literally the screens that they're watching in 1984, right? Where you had that, everybody's watching the TV that can see them. Literally, that's what the internet is, or it is. That's what it is now. And but we're not to the part where it's telling us what to do. It's not talking back to us, telling us, this is, we see you. Don't be doing that. We see what you're doing. Like they kind of there, but not. It's not quite so obvious yet. Anyways, it's kind of like, sure, I guess oil is a good investment if you think investing in the death of the planet is a good investment. You know what I mean? If you just overlook the fact that it's destroying the web of life, well, then yeah, you can make a lot of money. Come on, man. But hey, who am I to tell you where to draw the line, right? Because like almost everything we do is destroying the planet upstream or downstream on some level. So it's like, it's like the purity people that, you can't shop here and 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 you can't go here and you can't you can't do that. Yeah, sure. Right. But like if you cut out all the things that are destroying the planet or bad for people or bad for the planet or run by evil people, you literally have nothing left, right, to do. You would just be standing naked on a hillside trapping squirrels for food. Anyways, let's listen to this woman talk about, this is Tiffany Chianchi. I've played her before. When inflation is really greedflation and billionaires have convinced you that's not them, it's you, down is up, sky is green. I think she's probably going to be talking about how, well, like Catherine Austin Fitts said, we don't have a what is it? We don't have a debt problem. We have a robbery problem. And that is the same. We don't have an inflation problem. We have a robbery problem, which is the same as the Lux idea. Like everybody's like, what's our profit? How can we just make our profit margin just so ridiculous, just absolutely astronomical? How can we repackage the thing that we're selling so that we can charge double for it and everybody be like, yeah, this is a really great product. That's why I pay so much for it. Come on, man. Don't you see what's happening?
It turns out billionaires, politicians, and economists really have just been gaslighting us for the last 3 years. Yesterday, an explosive economics report was released by a think tank out of DC confirming what you and I and everyday Americans have been screaming from the rooftops for the past 3 years, that these record high price increases that we've experienced in everything from gasoline, lumber, poultry, eggs, and diapers haven't actually been being driven up by necessities, supply chain issues, COVID recovery, or labor shortages. No, no. It turns out that 53% of all price increases that have quite literally bankrupted middle America have now, in fact, been confirmed to have been driven by one singular thing: billionaire corporate greed and their record and relentless pursuit of profits. It's as vulgar as it sounds, and I'm sorry to say the outlook doesn't look good, but let's get into this and talk about how we can still fight back and protect our households, our income, and our economy. Let's get into it. Since the start of 2020, the working and middle class of America have experienced the largest strip mining and transfer of wealth from the everyday American to billionaires that has ever been experienced in our nation's history. We've experienced relentless increases on prices on everything from diapers going up 184% to 70% increases in the prices of chicken and poultry.
By the way, this is 9 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing, but we'll play a good portion of it.
And despite ever increasing record profits continuing to be reported as everyday Americans continue to deplete their savings just trying to survive, 67% of Wall Street and political insider economists that have been giving testimony before Congress and quoting for the record in the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg have consistently stated over and over again, no, price increases haven't been driven by corporate greed. It's a nuanced issue related to supply chain and labor demands and squeeze in the economy. But why? Why have they been saying that? Well, their jobs depend on it. As a result, it's become a widely adopted narrative that companies and consumers have been sharing in the pain of record inflation and post COVID recovery pains. But in reality, what we've witnessed is a corporate environment where the majority of all SEC filings are reporting record profitability with record stock buybacks and record dividend payouts, while CEOs are experiencing record bonus structures tied to the performance of those stocks. At the exact same time that they're paying out 50% increases in profitability, they're increasing prices between 50% and, yes, you're reading that right, 111,000% in the increases of prices on goods we need just to survive. And in light of these recent reports, we've reached a point where even the coziest political and Wall Street insiders have no choice but to admit that it's become obvious corporations are passing along any form of short-term struggling that they have onto consumers, and they're continuing to serve the wealthiest 1%, while nobody is passing along anything to help those in need of fair wages or products that are affordable just to survive.
Okay, we're going to cut it there just for the sake of time. I think you get the picture. And they just, passed Trump's bill, which further enriched. All right, we're going to watch another thing about the economy. Sorry, this is very depressing, but, this is what we're on today for a little bit. We'll talk about some weather, the weather that hit New York and stuff, and some other things. But for now, this is what we're talking about. It's a short show. So how did the American dream die? How did the middle class die? I'm going to tell you. So let's see. This is
how did the American dream die? How did the middle class die? I'm going to tell you, it started in the 1980s with trickle-down economics that did not work. They decided
this guy talks quick and gets a lot of information into this video. So really good.
Cuts to the rich and corporations saying that money would trickle down. It didn't. It just made the rich richer. Then we greenlit stock buyback. So instead of when the productivity was going up, instead of giving workers more money, they just bought back their stocks so the shareholders could make profit and the executives could get bonuses. Then we had leverage buyouts, and the government didn't regulate leverage buyouts, and that was the start of private equity basically buying up everything so that they could make more money. Then we moved away from pensions to 401ks, which essentially just took the responsibility and accountability of the company to take care of their workers with the retirement and put it on to individuals. But we were never taught economics in high school, so how the fuck are we supposed to know about compound interest and investing? But they said the 401k was better than the pension when it wasn't. Then they started shipping our jobs overseas, building the middle class of other countries so that they could make more profit, destroying the middle class here. Then we started ramping up the borrowing money and getting into debt as a country, which devalues our dollar. And then in 2008, we had predatory lending, which crashed the housing market, fucked over so many Americans. And then we used taxpayer money to bail out the banks. And when all the houses were cheap, the rich went and bought those up. And that's when you started to see the rent start to increase around the 2010s and the 2015s. And then in 2011, we allowed super PACs to exist. So billionaires can now buy elections, and they use that money on attack ads, which divides the country. Divide and conquer, and that's what they did. In 2020, we had the pandemic, which both sides of the aisle handled like absolute shit, shut down all small businesses. All the money went to the top. The rich got richer. They printed trillions of dollars more, which people needed. But what did all the people do? We spent the money because we needed to spend the money. And where did that money go? To the top, and they got richer. And lastly, they decided during the pandemic, let's lower the interest rates on buying a home to 2.5% to 3% so that people could refinance and get ahead. But no, all that really did was give the green light to a bunch of rich people to basically borrow free money and buy up all the fucking housing so that we can no longer own a home. And that all ended in 2021. Then we've experienced 25% inflation since the pandemic. And here we are in 2025, and we no longer have a middle class, and the American dream is dead.
Very succinct. Yeah, that's what's happening. Meanwhile, clowns like this are running the show. Marjorie Taylor Greene bought stock in Palantir on April 8th. Quiver Quantitative said, we reported on this right away because Greene sits on the House Committee on Homeland Security. And she also voted yes on the big, beautiful bill without even reading it. I don't know what's in the bill. I just wonder when somebody's going to get upset about the crooks that are just literally taking everything, stealing everything that's not nailed down right now. While everybody's struggling and off balance, and there's literally no opposition to this. There's no organized opposition to this. Nobody's. Sure, some people are like, hey, I don't like this. Sure, people are all over the internet saying, hey, look, there's some serious problems going on. But nobody's like, hey, how about me and a couple thousand of my friends get in front of City Hall or get in front of the White House and talk about this? Hey, why don't we start blocking some traffic? Or, standing in front of particular places of business. Hey. And the track record shows that it doesn't take a lot to push these folks back or push back on people, because they're all cowardly bullies who fold, with any sign of pressure. It would just take like a couple thousand, 100,000 people getting out in the streets, like for them to go like, oh shoot, oh, all right, I'm sorry. Maybe we should, I don't know. I think we might lose our voter base. What if, regular ass people started their own party, their own political party, and said, hey, we're not, She does have strange feet. You're right. Okay. New York City getting whacked. And New York State, the whole area getting just absolutely pummeled with the rain situations. If you're attempting to head into New York City tonight, forget about it. There's serious flooding on the Bronx River Parkway and 287. Many main routes are closed. This is yesterday. Joyzy doing it too. Never seen flooding like this in New Jersey, New Providence. This is in New Providence. Subway got flooded. Yeah. This is my next video. It's the subway. This is crazy. This is wild. What? This is yikes. It's almost like something is happening with our climate. That's true, Bella. It's almost like that. Too bad it's just the chemtrails and we could just turn it off and then everything will go back to normal. I mean, look at it. Think about it this way. as far as the all the disclosure that's coming out around chemtrails and geoengineering. Okay, so remember when for years and years when the elites, people in high places were saying climate change is really bad and you should worry about it. Would I ever move to the East Coast? Probably not. I don't see a reason why I would. There are other places I might move to first, probably the Northwest or maybe the Midwest. Not excited about either, but maybe the Northwest. Anyways, now the people in charge are like, how about that geoengineering? We got to do something about this, right? I mean, yeah, disclosure is now the thing that the elites use, right? To get right. Climate change was the thing that the elites used, right? Oh, we care about the climate, right? And everybody was like, what about the climate? And they were like, we care about the climate. And you're like, oh, you do? That's awesome. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? You care about the climate. Oh, you're the party that cares about the climate. Oh, you're awesome. That's awesome. We should, yeah. And now the elites are like, oh yeah, what about that? What about those conspiracy theory? What about the Epstein files? What about the geoengineering? What? And everybody's like, yeah, what about it? These people care about the conspiracies. You're awesome. No, they don't. they care about the conspiracies as much as they cared about climate change. And it makes you wonder, like, well, what should I believe? What do I believe in? Do I believe in the climate change thing, or do I believe in the geoengineering thing? I don't know. Now the elites are talking about geoengineering like it's real. Like it's a real thing, because they denied it for years. They just would never even address it. Like, you're crazy. And now the elites are like, oh, totally, geoengineering. Is it real, or are they using it as a way to get you to think that they care? I'm just saying. Feel like sometimes when I listen to my own voice, it's very loud. Pennsylvania, mandatory evacuation for the entire town of Glen Mar, Pennsylvania, due to major flooding. Risk from creek rising 10 feet in 3 hours. This is from yesterday. I mean, here is Moscow is getting into the whole weather thing too. They hate Moscow. Underground parking at the Talisman residential complex in Moscow. This is there's a ton of videos coming out of Moscow. I saw that Hambone got flooded out, and that sucks. So I mean, I'm glad he's safe. Hopefully he can recover from that pretty quickly. All right. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell y'all, I'm going to be doing a music live stream tonight at 7 p.m. Follow me on Instagram at kevinsandbloom. You can see me there, or on my YouTube channel at kevinsandbloom. I'm just going to do a couple songs. But if you want to tune in at 7 p.m. Pacific, You can catch me outside of Black Bear News. Yeah. Basically, yeah, Chris the Nomad, the whole geoengineering thing is the right-wing version of it is. They appeal to a certain demographic of people that are like, no way. And it's very effective, right? Because guess who got voted into office? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they're ruining, what they're doing though is effectively doing what so the Democrats had no intention of addressing climate change. Right. Bella, record atmospheric and oceanic temperatures. That's what's happening. It's actually getting warmer. It's called global warming, right? Remember back in the day when it's called global warming? It's still global warming. It still is. It's still getting warmer in the global warming. Whether you want to believe in it or not, that's what's happening. I mean, it doesn't care about your beliefs. But so many other things are happening too. That what the Republicans are doing is effectively ruining those subjects that people, I think are serious subjects, right? Make America healthy again, vaccines. Sure, certain things we like to know the truth about, JFK and the Epstein files, and right, they're making a mockery about people's desire to have these things addressed by not addressing them in the same way that the Democrats made a mockery of climate change. They absolutely made a mockery of it because they never really addressed it. They were never serious about addressing it. They knew that there was really no political solution for it. It was just branding. It was a branding exercise for them. So when people who really care about climate change realize these people aren't serious, it ruined the idea of listening to these people about climate change forever and ever. Right? The elite, the elites aren't going to do anything about climate change, and they're not serious about it. And the more they talk about it, the more it pisses people off. So what the what the Republicans are doing for the conspiracy world is just, they're mocking people for caring about these things. And they're saying, we really don't give an F about this. We don't, we're not going to help you on this. Good luck out there. And it's going to piss people off about, listening to these people ever again, right? They're never really going to be able to come back from this and say like, oh, we're totally going to tell you the truth. Like, does Elon Musk really think that people believe that he cares about, like, with his, bot numbers and his fake numbers all on X, on the platform that he owns, like that people actually think that I don't think people really care about what he has to say about anything, like it. But if you can post things and millions of people can see it, I guess you can make it look like people care, but no, people don't. People don't believe you anymore. People don't believe that you're for real anymore. And eventually I wonder where all of that goes. You know? Case in point, the Republicans voted to block the release of the Epstein files. So Ro Khanna, Democrat from California, said he, put forward a bill saying like, let's see him. And the Republicans were like, how about no?
Honestly don't want to hear shit about how this is not the time to play politics. Republicans are showing you in real time who the fuck they are and that they could never again in their
yes, Republicans are showing you who they are, but you could also say the same thing for Democrats on everything that they walk back. I mean, yes, they voted against this. This is all theater. This is all for show. If it was a majority Democrat committee, I'm sure that they'd find a couple Democrats to vote no on this. I don't think this person understands how it works, right? In Congress, when they want something to not pass, right, they just find the numbers on the other side of the aisle to get to vote no or yes or whatever to get the thing through that they want. Like it doesn't. They're not like, oh, look at the Democrats fighting for truth. Come on, man. You got to be just a little smarter than that. Anyways.
Motherfucking miserable ass lives say that they are the pro-life, that they are the pro-birth, that they are the pro-children, that they are the pro-family.
This is true.
Fucking party. They can't say that shit anymore. You know why? Because literally right now, Democrats put forth an amendment that would have
exactly. Denver Democrats voted against impeaching Trump a few weeks ago. If you want to know like how like real Democrats are, oh, they're really on our side. They don't care about you, yo. They don't care. They don't care about you. Like they don't care if this bill actually made it through the committee and made it onto the floor, the Democrats would find a way to kill it. If they needed the Democrats to kill it, they don't need the Democrats to kill it because they have a majority of Republicans. If it was a majority Democratic House, they would find the votes to kill it.
Force Donald Trump to release the fucking Epstein files. And you know what this cockeyed bitch just did? This cockeyed bitch just, as a chairwoman of the House and Rules Committee, decided to take all her Republicans and vote against the fucking measurement.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. No. Clerk will report the total.
5 yeas, 7 nays.
The noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to. And I think most of us believe what's appropriate will be released when it is time for the president to release.
And here's the thing. I really don't even fucking understand why they're trying to die on this hill. Literally. Why are they trying to die on this hill? Steve Bannon, who's one of Donald Trump's closest fucking advisors, also a white supremacist, says that the GOP, the Republicans, are going to lose 40 fucking seats over these Epstein files. Like, they know this shit is sinking them. The only reason why they would be going along with this fucking plan and to support Trump even through this bullshit is because they know they've got some backdoor deal or backdoor information that knows that Trump is planning on creating legislation that's going to change the fucking elections, which they already said they were going to do with the Make American Elections Great Again bill, to make it so that they don't have to worry about facing voters in 2026.
All right, here's some information for you. How about the election integrity part of the infrastructure bill that Biden passed? Is anybody ever talking about that? They made it harder for third parties. Like they strengthened the two corporate parties in that bill. The Democrats did that. They made it harder for third parties to run. Okay, so like, well, yes, I'm sure that Trump is trying to pass some election, interference, quote unquote, bill, which means that they're going to interfere more in the elections, right? But like, this is on the back of another bill that the Democrats passed, which made it way harder for third parties to run. Yeah, so just understand these two arms are working together. They're reaching across the aisle to do the same things.
2028. That's the only fucking reason. Because literally all of your supporters were some of the biggest conspiracy theorists. Some of the biggest people who dove into these motherfucking files and have been reporting on this shit for years, and now thought that you were going to be the one anointed by God to save children, to save families, and all of this bullshit. And now you fucking disappointed them. Now they're mad as fuck at you.
This is true. Everybody's mad about this, and as they should be. Everybody's upset about this, as they should be. Guys, if you like the show, if you support the show, if you want this show to continue coming to you for free 99, consider supporting the show at one of the links, the handy links below, in the description box. All the usual suspects are there: Venmo, CashApp, PayPal, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi, Patreon, Substack. And you can find those on the link tree on X as well, and the link tree in Telegram as well. Yeah, man. What else is happening? What other dumb stuff is happening in the world? That's that stuff is dumb. I don't read the news. I don't really pay attention to the news. It's dumb. It's true. Trump has reportedly asked Ukraine's Zelensky to let the Russians feel the pain by hitting targets deep inside Russia. Ooh, we're going to stop the war in Ukraine. Oh, no. We're going to fund it some mo. Oh, we're going to send them some more. We got to send them some defensive equipment, guys. Yeah. They are funding that. You know, he never stopped sending them weapons, and he never stopped actually. All that theater that they're doing about, I'm very mad at Zelensky, and oh, we're talking to Russia. Oh, we're going to have a ceasefire, a piece of a ceasefire. Nope. Why? It's good for business. And lastly, this is Trump's ICE memo, 6-hour deportation rule explained. A newly disclosed memo from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has reignited national debate over immigration enforcement. Oh, there's a debate? I love it. We're just all out here debating. I don't think there's a debate. I don't think there's much of a debate. I think people think this is the way they're going about it is really bad. Period. The memo dated July 9th, 2025 authorizes ICE agents to deport migrants not only to their countries of origin, but also to third countries where they don't hold citizenship, allowing as little as 6 hours notice before removal. What? How does that how does that make sense? Yo. Supporters of the move argue it restores border security and the rule of law. Oh, who are those supporters? Critics warn at risk really? Who supports this? We support stripping people of their civil rights and due process. Critics warn it risks due process violations and humanitarian harm. This article explains what the policy means for everyday Americans, why it matters beyond the immigration headlines. I don't know. I don't know if we need to explain what it means. Help me understand. You're just putting people on planes to foreign countries. I mean, that part is. When did that become a thing that We're just supporting you, some random country. Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, is anybody going to know where you are? No, I don't know. What? I don't even understand that part. I would really like to know about if there's people out there that support this. I wonder if there's a man on the street video out there of people just going, that doesn't make any sense. I don't what's happening? I don't listen to the news. That's dumb. I don't know why you need to break this down. You're violating due process and all kinds of basic civil rights in doing this. So like, well, you need somebody to explain that to you. It's illegal. There, I broke it down for you. They're doing some illegal shit. And they're impinging on, the humanity of all kinds of people with no I don't know what this does for anybody. Yeah, that's what's happening. I don't know how to explain it any different to you. I don't know how to make you see. There's some bad people. All right, guys. I'm gonna shut it off. Shut the video down. Shut it down. Cut the stream. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all. I don't know if I have anybody to thank right now at the moment. Don't know. Thanks for watching all. I'm going to see you tomorrow at the regular time of 12 p.m. Pacific. Enjoy the rest of your day. Get ready for the bear.